Hey guys, welcome out to my channel. Today we are actually working with metal fabrication tools today. I got a new tool for Christmas. This is a Stark model 61088 English wheel. This was like about $100 and some off of Amazon. I have a 1930 or 2930 Model A that I'm gonna have to do some body work with, and this is essential for doing body work. So as far as English wheels go, you can buy really expensive ones, but this one's not too bad for a beginner's model, one to start off and learn on. It comes with all sorts of the dies, which are these wheels up here. It comes with the frame and then the top wheel right here. One of the major things that I've seen, I've only played with it a little bit, one of the major things I've seen is that this wobbles side to side. The wheel or the die right here on the bottom has a pin that goes side to side and it eventually falls out. The post right here, it also is very wobbly. And also if you come right in front of the unit, you can see that these do not line up. It's kind of like twisted a little bit. So if you put pressure going this way, that's how it lines up better. We can still see that it's not 100%. And as I was saying, this can move side to side pretty bad. So we're gonna address some of these problems. I do like having the rack right here and where everything will just stay put for this specific tool. The only other thing that I think I would like to add eventually is putting a plate across this bottom piece that if I go lay it up in the vise, it actually will sit down on the plate and I don't have to worry about this, if this is level or not. So the first thing that we're gonna address is this issue right here with it being able to drift side to side. And most of this can probably be solved by just using shims or washers, and that is what I'm going to do. I've got this washer right here that I'm actually going to be able to put in there. We'll see if it fits snugly, then hopefully that takes out that little bit of a wobble. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this cotter pin out, the actual pin shaft for the wheel, and then we're going to try to insert this washer right here to get that tight. Alright, so as you can see, I was able to get that washer in there. It may be a little bit thick. I think the little legs right here are a little bit flared out, but this has absolutely no wobble anymore, and it spins. It does have a little bit of resistance, but I'm sure that this is going to be fine. And so now, one of the other things that I really need to address is trying to see if I can get this stable or go ahead. The fix that I'm going to be doing with these wheels, or the dies I think they're called, are going to be by putting some washers as well on them. They are tapered on the end. If you can see, there's like a little taper right there, and a washer fits perfect over the taper. And what I think I'm going to do is just tack weld the washer on, that way in case I do need to get the washer off for some reason, then I can just grind it off. But having the washer on there will give it a little bit of play side to side, and it will be able to go in and out just nicely. So I think I'm going to pull the English wheel out and go ahead and start tacking all of the washers onto these little roll pins. Alright guys, so to begin with this, what I'm doing is I'm just going to take the shaft of these wheels, or the dies, and I've got my washer, and I've got some vice grips that have like a needle nose vice grip. That way I can stay very shallow against the shaft. And I'm just gonna lay this onto the post right where the bevel is, and then I'm just gonna throw down some tacks onto it. I'm going to use my clamp, or the ground, to clamp around that bottom washer, and then I'm just going to do the same from the other side. And it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it does get the job done, and it does hold so that the wheel can't come off. And then I'm going to test this in the mount, and also go ahead and throw it in the rack. That way this can all start cooling. But that's exactly what I'm doing to hold these in place. And then if I ever need to get the die, or maybe it's called the anvil, off, I just grind down those little welds, and that should be fine. Alright guys, so I've gotten all of my wheels tacked with washers. I've got one in the mount right here, and I started playing around with trying to get this like more stable. What I've kind of come up with is using flashing, because it is so thin that I was able to cut a couple pieces and just put them around, so that whenever you need to go down with it, it does hold so well that you actually have to push this down. And then whenever you're coming up, the only downfall of that is that you kind of gotta push these back in place as you're raising it, but you don't have to move it that much to get your metal in and out. And as you can see, these really are not in line anymore. I've got to figure out exactly where on this frame I need to twist to get this correct. I'm thinking more along the lines somewhere over here instead of like on this main beam, because that would swing the whole thing, and all I'm looking for is this end to kind of twist. I think looking at it, this frame is all square to itself. It's something down here that is not right. So I may put some heat on the end right here on these two parts and kind of twist this portion and try to get it to line up a little bit better with this right here. So I'm just heating up on these little posts right here, and then I'm slowly twisting it around. It's pretty tough because I'm moving it right in the middle of it and right on the edge where the beams are. So I'm trying to get it really hot. I've had to try to twist it about 3 separate times now. hopefully this will be the last time that I have to twist. I just got some big vice or channel locks. One more. Come on, let's get this. Ugh. And I think I am there. So let me bring you to the front now. So now you can see that both the main, I'm going zoomed in. The main wheel and then the die or anvil are in line now. So I shouldn't have any kind of real drifting. So I'll just let this cool. And I've actually squeezed the top a little bit, trying to twist it. So I may end up having to take that washer back out. We'll figure that out though in a little bit. But that's what I've done to straighten it up. So my frame itself is still square. And the only thing I moved was right here at these 2 points. I ruined the paint job, but I mean, I can throw some black paint on there. I can take the guards off or the holders off. Throw some black paint on there if I need to, but now my main problem with it being like out of square has been fixed. We've gotten the washers on there so that they don't fall out. And now when I'm moving the rack around and I have these up here, I don't have to worry about them falling out or slipping down here. When I was carrying it, I kept having these drop out, and then I had like a couple of the wheels fall off, so that was kind of ridiculous. But I think one thing I'm going to do is actually make a holding spot up here for it, and then this should be all good. I'm still debating on what to do right here. Gonna let that cool for now, and then we'll address the wheel, make sure that it spins again. Probably have to take it back out and stuff, but yeah, so that's where we're at. So I went through, cleaned it up as best I could. There are some channel lock marks right here. Filed most of those down, and then I had some on this side as well. Got those filed down. Took a bristle brush, tried to get most of this even as possible, and it's not going to be perfect. It's not. But from the factory, it was really messed up. It was twisted the wrong direction. Wasn't lining up with those anvils. So had to torch it, had to spin it. And now we're going to try to put a little bit of paint on there just to keep it from rusting over. So here we go. Here it is, all put back together. Everything works as it should. The alignment is really good. I actually just tested it out on this scrap piece of metal right here, and it doesn't steer. Before, I was having a major issue with the piece of metal kept on trying to like drift off to one side, and that is because of how this was lined up. But now it is perfectly in line. My legs right here are flared out, so I think I'm going to end up having to take that washer out and either get a thinner washer, or maybe this leg right here will end up bending back in and closing it up. We'll have to see, but right now it does spin just fine. It is extremely tight side to side. You can't even move it. It's still a little bit warm from taking all that heat whenever I was messing with the steering. This works great. I really enjoy having the little washers on there. The little shaft doesn't fall in and tip over. This is still a little bit loose side to side, so I'm gonna have to keep trying to work on that, figure something out. Maybe it needs like one more piece of the flashing in on this side to really tighten it up. It's not really wobbly as it used to be. It used to be really bad. But I got the rack put back on so we can put all of our wheels back in their place. And one thing that is very important with these is to always clean the wheels before you actually use them, because you don't want like little debris bits to be smashing into your metal as you're using it. So I've gone through and wiped them all down, but every time you go to use them, I'm going to end up wiping them down. But that's it for me for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like learning that you can buy these cheap tools. Yes, you get what you pay for. So this was like $120, and I had to do some work on it to get it right, to fix it, and it works. I'm sure that a $1,000 one or whatever they cost would come right out of the box perfect. But I've got all the dies, and online you can find dies or the anvils, and they are usually the same price that the whole entire thing came for. And I didn't have to make anything. So that's the benefit of doing it this way. If you guys have any tips or tricks on using this, go ahead and leave those down in the comments. If you guys have any other comments, leave them there too. Appreciate you guys stopping by, hanging out with me while I fix this up so I can get it usable. Appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you guys on the next video.